The views expressed on the following program do not necessarily represent those of this station or its management.
It's time now for Where You Live with Gene Sullivan, the show that deals with the news and events that affect you the most. Whether you rent or own, live in an HOA, single-family home, or an apartment building, Gene will tackle the issues right where you live. So from the Natural Green Lawn and Landscape Studios, here is the original man of steel, Resolve himself, who stands for truth, justice, and the association way. Here's Gene Sullivan.
Good morning. Welcome once again to Where You Live. I'm Gene Sullivan, broadcasting from the Natural Green Lawn and Landscape Studios. Remember, Natural Green is a locally owned and operated lawn and landscape care company. Their mission to use the most environmentally sensitive products available to keep your lawn and landscape looking lush and beautiful while still healthy for both people and pets. Give them a call, see what they can do for you today at 763-213-2410. Also brought to you by Extreme Exteriors and American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency. And I also want to welcome, as always, the faithful person who makes this show happen every week, Chris Wyatt Puberty, with the fastest fingers of any board op I've ever seen. How are you, Chris?
I'm good, Gene. How are you?
Great. The State Fair's coming up, isn't it?
It is right around the corner.
Now, do you always go to the State Fair?
As a just a attendee?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
You do. I think I have, as a kid, I went just a couple of times, but once I started having children, my son and daughter know that I took them every year faithfully. Mm-hmm. It's a great experience, the great Minnesota get-together. Mm-hmm. We're going to be there live again this year. That's right. Coming up just a couple weeks away. So those shows are not going to be pre-taped like they usually are. So you can give us a call. We'll be taking those calls live on Saturday, the 24th and the 31st at a regular time. And then in addition, this year we have been given the privilege and opportunity. Afternoon host Michael Medved has agreed to give up his last hour here in the Twin Cities, so that from the 4 to 5 o'clock hour, Monday through Friday, that's the 26th through the 30th of August, I'll be broadcasting live every day at the State Fair as well. So you want to come down. Those are shows you're not going to want to miss. Well, let's begin without further ado. We've got a lot to cover today, some great stories here, but it is time for Property Management in the News. Property Management in the News is brought to you by Home Furniture and Abbey Floor Coverings. Their showrooms are staffed with professionals who will help you choose what you need to fit both your lifestyle and budget. Whatever you need, chances are they'll have what you're looking for. Now, if you wish to avail yourself of special pricing and discounts you won't find anywhere else, all Where You Live listeners can call Customer Service Coordinator Lori Matson. Her number 952-224-2663. That number again, 952-224-2663, and ask for your Where You Live special pricing. Well, I've got an interesting story that I've been watching that's coming out of the state of Nevada. Apparently there, the legislators are feeling a need to tweak and create some anti-bullying laws to increase what they see are problems, not just anywhere, but where else? In an HOA. And when I was reading about the legislature and what they were doing, there was a article that caught my eye from someone who's our next guest here on the show. I'm happy to welcome with me today to talk about this is the Association Portfolio Manager for Colonial Property Management out of Mesquite, Nevada, Tiara Gale. Hi, Tiara.
Hi, Gene.
Thanks for taking some time to be with me on the show today.
Sure, thank you.
Now, I thought you wrote an excellent article. This was in, what was it? It's a online journal that you are a regular contributor for, I believe.
It's Mesquite Citizen Journal in Mesquite, and it's an online newspaper. It gets updated every day, and I write an article for it every other week.
Yes, and I really enjoyed what you said. I thought you were very, very thoughtful, and I thought you really seemed to understand what's going on here. Bullying, anti-bullying laws are something that's been kind of big around the country the last few years. I mean, we've been hearing about people bullying kids at school, and now it's concentrating on HOAs here too.
Right.
When I read the bill, the first thing that came to my mind is it really necessary to have a specific bill talking about anti-bullying that deals with HOAs? What do you think, Tiara?
When I first read the bill, that was my reaction also. I think that part of the problem is the familiarity you're bound to have within your HOA. So if you were to go to, say, a city council meeting, those people are council members. But when you go to an HOA meeting or you interact with your HOA in any other way, those are neighbors. And sometimes they're neighbors that you like, and sometimes they're not.
So do you think because there's a little bit more familiarity that people are probably holding one another with a little bit stronger feelings of contempt sometime rather than someone you don't know?
I do. And I mean, in my experience, the people who are bullies within an HOA are otherwise really normal and reasonable people outside of HOA matters. I mean, I see them at other meetings. They're respectful, they're collected, and then they come into a board meeting and start, calling people names. And it goes for everyone involved. It's not always homeowner against board or board against homeowner. So yes, the law already exists in some fashion, but I think the fact that the law directly identifies HOAs and the members that make up HOAs will help to make the consequences of harassment within an HOA more tangible.
Yeah. Well, I understand that. I'm coming from myself, and this is probably more philosophical for myself, Tiara. As an individual, I am the kind of person that always thinks, you know what, if there is a law or something that's already written, if you need to tweak it, fine, but to always think about creating something new over and over again, it just gets to be a list that how can anybody ever even begin to remember everything?
And certainly, I think they probably thought about that as well. And I think if you read the actual statute, you can see just how specific it is. I mean, it specifically lists out community manager, agent, executive board, officer, tenant, unit owner, guest. And I think that that's what makes this law slightly different. I think the consequences are relatively the same, but I think it just creates that this is a consequence. Even though, these people are your neighbors, this is not a neighbor dispute. This is not a normal dispute. You can't go around calling people names. You can't harass them. You can't call and email. And it happens. Unfortunately, it does happen from time to time.
So what do you think that this bill is addressing that the other laws that were already on the books concerning harassment of individuals didn't cover?
I think it identifies that what you do within an HOA, again, is harassment to begin with. Because whenever we do have an issue of harassment within an HOA, whether it be a board member or a homeowner, they really feel, again, probably because they feel emotional about this issue, it's their home, that they are in the right by saying what they're saying and doing what they're doing, that a board member or a homeowner or whoever is the target deserves this treatment because of what they are doing to them personally. And most people who harass feel like they're being harassed themselves. That's usually what we see in this. So I don't know that it treats any problem differently. Again, I think it's just a more tangible identification of what's actually happening.
Yeah. I think that is very well said, and it's true, a great observation about people. Usually the people that I have found that are going to be the ones who are harassing others, or because they feel that they're being harassed
right.
themselves.
I mean, they feel wronged, honestly. That's how they feel. And it just, I don't think that most people who come in and do harass any HOA member are doing so because they are trying to be vindictive or mean. They just truly feel like they're being wronged, and they're trying to get their point across, and emotions sometimes just get the better of them. And again, that familiarity, you don't have that public persona to, try to appear reasonable to people that you don't know. You know these people, and like I said, sometimes the personal relationship is not a strong one, and that will impact.
Yeah, and it's too bad that there can't be more of a civil discourse with people. And I want to talk to you about that next here, but we're going to need to take a break. Can you stay with me another segment?
Sure.
Folks, we're talking to property manager Tiara Gale. We're talking about the new anti-bullying bill that's being introduced in the Nevada legislature. We're going to talk about that and more after these messages.